Life is noisy, right?
It really is. So much going on around us.
Whether you're trying to focus in like a busy cafe or traveling on a packed
Or
train,
just want some peace with your music.
sometimes you just need to tune it all out. It's a challenge.
Absolutely. Creating that little bubble of calm, it feels almost essential these days.
And that's exactly why today we're doing a deep dive. We're getting into the world of noise-canceling headphones.
Mm-hmm. We've sifted through quite a stack of material for this one.
Yeah, really digging into some thorough tech reviews, buying guides,
Mm.
places like Forbes Vetted, What Hi-Fi.
Yeah, and also checking out what's actually available, looking at sources like Accessories Hub.
Right. We're basically using all this as our guide, trying to, well, cut through the noise surrounding this tech,
Mm-hmm.
if you'll pardon the pun.
Yeah. And our mission here is really to pull out the most important bits from these sources
Exactly. To help you understand what makes the best noise-canceling headphones right now.
so you can figure out what matters most. Well, for you.
Okay, so let's maybe start with the core tech. Active noise cancellation, ANC.
Yeah, let's unpack that. The sources do a good job explaining it.
Yeah.
There's a key difference, right, between just blocking sound passively.
Like just putting cushions over your ears?
Sort of, yeah. That's passive isolation, the physical barrier of the headphone, the materials.
Okay.
But active noise cancellation, that's where the clever stuff happens. These headphones have tiny microphones on the outside.
Listening to the world around you.
Exactly. They pick up the ambient noise, analyze its pattern, and then generate an opposite sound wave, an anti-phase wave.
Ah, the old physics trick.
Yeah.
Wave meets its mirror image.
And poof, they cancel each other out, or, well, mostly cancel each other out.
Right, the result being a big drop in background noise.
A dramatic reduction, yeah. Some testers and the sources mention silencing things like vacuum cleaners almost completely, or even like the screech of a subway train.
Wow. So it's not just muffling, it's actively fighting back against the sound waves.
Precisely. Which makes a huge difference, especially if you want to listen to your music or podcasts at a reasonable volume.
Yeah, without blasting your eardrums just to hear over the engine noise. It's clearly a game changer for loud places.
Definitely. So these sources, they put various headphones through their paces, real-world tests, planes, trains, busy offices.
And they came back with some top contenders.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really interesting is they didn't always agree on the single best one.
And this is where it gets kind of tricky, but also useful for understanding the nuances. Forbes Vetted, for example, they crowned the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra wireless headphones.
Okay, Bose, what was their reasoning?
They pointed to unparalleled ANC, like top-tier noise canceling and premium audio quality, plus comfort.
Comfort's huge.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned wearing them comfortably for flights like 10, even 13 hours long. And the battery life, rated at 24 hours with ANC, apparently held up well.
Okay, so Bose for ultimate quiet and long-haul comfort, according to Forbes. But you said What Hi-Fi had a different take.
They did. Their best overall went to the new Sony WH-1000 XM6.
Oh, the Sonys. Always in the mix.
Right. They called them fabulous all-rounders. Said they improved on previous models, not just in sound, which they describe as detailed and dynamic, but also in ANC. Though they describe Sony's ANC as maybe more natural and subtle, but still very effective.
Natural and subtle versus unparalleled. Interesting difference in phrasing.
Exactly. Two really respected sources, similar testing environments, different champions. It just shows that best isn't absolute. It really depends what you prioritize.
So are you chasing that near total silence that Forbes highlighted with Bose?
Or are you maybe leaning towards that top-notch audio fidelity combined with excellent, perhaps slightly less intense ANC, plus practical things like the folding design on the Sony XM6?
Which where Hi-Fi
Yeah.
seemed to favor. And the Sony has a bit longer battery life too, you said. 30 hours.
Yeah, 30 hours rated with ANC on. So it's these kinds of trade-offs.
And it's not just the big over-ear headphones anymore, is it? Our deep dive showed ANC is getting really good in earbuds too.
Oh, absolutely. Seriously good. Both Forbes Vetted and What Hi-Fi actually highlighted the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra earbuds.
The earbud version of the top pick from Forbes. Makes sense.
Forbes called them the best noise-canceling wireless earbuds, period. Said that ANC gets pretty darn close to removing all background noise.
Wow. All background noise. From earbuds.
Pretty darn close, yeah. They even noted not hearing someone approach them. What Hi-Fi agreed, saying they set the benchmark for noise-canceling performance in earbuds.
That's amazing for something so small. But there must be a trade-off, right? compared to the over-ears.
Battery life, that's the big one Forbes pointed out. They only got up to about 6 hours with ANC on.
Oof. Okay, that's a big difference from 24 or 30 hours.
Yeah, they mentioned nearly running out on a 6-hour flight after some prior use, so you gain that portability, that small size, but you lose the marathon battery life.
Got it. Portability versus endurance.
And What Hi-Fi also gave a strong nod to the Sony WF-1000XM5 earbuds, fierce competitors to the Bose.
The Sony earbuds, how do they stack up?
They suggested the Sony's offer maybe slightly more insightful sound, perhaps at a slightly lower price, and the ANC is very, very close to the Bose. So another tough choice there.
Okay, so lots of options, even in the earbud space.
Yeah.
Now, beyond just the ANC and the sound comfort came up earlier, how important is that, according to the sources?
Massively important, especially if you plan on wearing them for hours, like on those flights or during long work sessions.
No sense.
Forbes mentioned the Bose QC Ultra headphones were comfortable for over 10 hours, although they did say the build felt maybe a little flimsy.
Oh, really? But they held up.
Apparently so. They proved durable in testing. In contrast, they mentioned the Apple AirPods Max having a really solid stainless steel build.
Right, Apple build quality.
But they were also noted as being heavier, which might impact long-term comfort for some.
Yeah, weight definitely matters after a few hours.
Right. And some of the budget-friendlier options, like the Anker Soundcore Space One, were described as feeling pretty cheap due to the plastic build.
But still durable.
Still durable, yeah. And actually, Forbes pointed out a really practical detail about those Ankers. The ear cups on the standard Space One aren't replaceable.
Oh, wow. That's limiting.
The Anker Soundcore Space One Pro version does have swappable ear cups, though you might need to contact customer service for instructions, apparently.
That's a small detail, but yeah, hugely important for the lifespan and long-term comfort of the headphones. Good catch.
It really is.
Yeah.
Something you don't think about until, well, your ear cups get worn out.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Audio quality. ANC creates the quiet space, but what about the sound inside that space?
Crucial point. And the good news is the premium models generally deliver here. Bose was praised for excellent audio pretty much right out of the gate.
No fiddling required.
It seems like it. And the Sony WH-1000XM6, as we mentioned, sets a really high bar. Exceptional detail, dynamic sound, good separation.
And for the real audiophiles, people willing to spend more.
Yeah, sources like What Hi-Fi pointed to models like the Dolly IO8 or the Bowers and Wilkins PI8. We're talking benchmark wireless performance and studio-level fidelity there. Big price tags, though.
Right. And this is where we start hearing about fancy tech terms like LDAC and aptX Adaptive.
Exactly. Those are audio codecs, basically ways to transmit higher quality audio over Bluetooth.
So potentially better sound, especially if you have high-res music files.
Potentially, yes. The Sony XM6 supports LDS, so do the Anker Space One Pro and that high-end Dolly model.
Okay. Any catch?
Well, the Anker source noted a potential trade-off. Enabling LDAF on those might disable Bluetooth multipoint.
Ah, so you might have to choose best possible sound quality or connecting to two devices at once.
Seems like it could be a choice on some models, yeah. And speaking of multipoint...
That's the feature letting you connect to your phone and laptop simultaneously, right?
Exactly, and switch audio between them easily. What Hi-Fi highlighted this as becoming almost a must-have feature now.
Makes sense for workflow.
And of course, the Apple AirPods Max handle this beautifully within the Apple ecosystem.
Naturally. What about letting outside sound in?
Transparency mode. Yeah, the sources pretty much see this as standard now on ANC headphones. Uses the external mics to let you hear announcements or have a quick chat without taking them off.
Super useful.
Definitely. And then you have differences in controls, physical buttons versus touch controls, like the volume swipe on the Bose QC Ultra.
Or even sensors.
Yeah, like the Anker Space one having sensors that auto-pause music when you take them off. These little usability things really add up day to day.
Okay, so we've covered the high-end, the earbuds, the key features.
Yeah.
But what if you don't want to, break the bank? The sources looked at budget options too, right?
Absolutely, and that's a critical point for a lot of people. You don't necessarily have to spend hundreds and hundreds.
So what did they find?
Well, Forbes vetted liked the Anker Soundcore Space One headphones. They said they offer very good audio quality at value pricing.
And the noise cancellation.
Pretty solid was the verdict, plus a really long battery life, 40 hours with ANC.
40 hours. Wow. That's impressive for a budget model.
It really is. And what hi-fi? They highlighted the Sony WH-CH720N.
Another Sony?
Yeah, they called these the best cheap noise-canceling headphones, offering decent ANC for the price and a sound they described as clear and direct.
Any downsides on those cheaper Sonys?
They noted they lack a folding design and don't come with a carrying case, so maybe less portable or protected.
Okay, trade-offs again. And earbuds. Any budget ANC options there?
Yep, Sony, again with the WFC 710N earbuds. They bring ANC and good sound quality down to a more affordable price point.
Even if they skip those high-end codecs like LDAC.
Right. You're not getting all the bells and whistles, but you are getting effective ANC. It clearly shows that this tech has become much more accessible.
Yeah, across different price points, different styles, over-ear, earbuds.
Exactly. Whether you want that total immersion from over-ears or the grab-and-go convenience of earbuds.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Different expert opinions, conflicting best picks sometimes, different features being emphasized. What's the main takeaway for you, the listener, trying to actually choose a pair?
I think the main thing is you really need to pause and think about your primary use case. What are you really going to use these for most often?
Right, and what compromises are you okay with?
Exactly. Are you constantly on planes? Maybe that maximum noise cancellation like Forbes found in the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra is your absolute top priority.
Or maybe audio fidelity is king for you, even within the ANC category.
In which case, perhaps the Sony WH-1000XM6 with its detailed sound that what hi-fi liked, or even those higher-end audiophile picks like the Dolly, might be more your speed.
Is it all about comfort for wearing them through an entire 8-hour workday?
Or maybe durability, because you know they're just going to get tossed in your bag every day.
Battery life for that cross-country trip without needing a charger.
Or maybe seamless integration within your existing tech ecosystem, if you're all in on Apple, for instance.
Right. Or perhaps budget is the main driver.
And you're looking for the best bang for your buck ANC, where those Anker or budget Sony options come into play.
So what the sources really make clear is that while ANC is the big flashy feature,
it's only part of the story. Comfort for how long you wear them, audio quality that you enjoy, battery life that fits your routine.
and those practical features like transparency mode or multi-point.
All of those things are just as critical. Finding the best headphones is really about finding the right balance of all these factors for your specific situation.
It's about identifying the tech that doesn't just block out the world, but actually makes your listening experience better in a way that fits seamlessly into your life.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on.
Considering everything we've talked about today, all the different features, the trade-offs, from how intensely they cancel noise to the nuances of audio codecs like LDAC, even really practical things like whether the ear cups are swappable or if they come with a decent case, what single feature beyond just the basic act of silencing the world do you think makes the biggest difference in the overall daily experience of using noise-canceling headphones? And why? Something to think about.